James, how do you do the things you do? I still can't believe that it's true. I get hungry when I think of you. Like champagne and caviar, you're such a treat. Like cherries Jubilee, you're oh so sweet. You whet my appetite each time we meet. Oh, James, it's true. I get hungry when I think of you.
Hi there, I'm James Barber, and it's shrimp today. Some things you can do with shrimp and never thought to ask. They come in all shapes and sizes. You get a little tiny shrimp, well, you can get them smaller than that, and you get the uncooked, the king shrimp, and you can get the big prawns. You get great big ones, sometimes the west coast of Canada, about that long, real monsters, just lovely. But today, they also come in a can. They come in Japanese noodles, and what we're going to play with is the dry ones. These are, look, these are Mexican and or Chinese. They're dried shrimp. Wherever shrimp go, people learn to dry them. You have to have a hot climate. They dry in the sun. These have got a special nutty flavor that's all their own. They're cheap. This is a great joy of this kind of thing. These are really cheap shrimp. You go into Chinatown or you go to a Mexican store, you can get dried shrimp. So I'm going to make a soup today, which is a special soup made out of what? Dried shrimp. So you get yourself a fry pan or a big soup pan, and you put in a bit of oil, a couple tablespoonfuls of oil, okay? You get yourself an onion and cut it up fairly small, but you don't want it too small because this isn't one of those mushy soups. This is one of those soups that you get a great loaf of bread to eat with it, and you get this great loaf of bread and something to drink. Now, beer is good, wine is good, apple juice is good, almost anything is good. But what you do, first of all, is throw the onion into the hot oil and let it start to sizzle until you can smell it a little bit. While that's happening, you get it. These are poblanos. These are nice Mexican pepper because we're making a Mexican soup. But if you can't get a poblano, then you get a couple of green peppers and a little bit of extra lime juice. But we're going to use a poblano for right now. Got a nice special flavor to it. Not very hot, but not totally bland and innocuous. Let's get the pits off there. Shake out the seeds and get rid of the seeds. Put them on the floor for the cat. All right. Another poblano. See the thin meat on it? See the difference in the... Let me show you. Look, real sort of thin shininess to the almost leathery compared to that one. See? There's the big difference between... Peppers are different, like people, okay? So here we are. Take the seeds out of it and cut the poblano. When you're cutting stuff up, just scrunch it up tight and cut across it all in one go. Saves you a lot of time, saves you a lot of energy, as long as you keep your fingers out of the way. All right? Now just turn the knife around and do it a bit more. So just chop that up so it's all about the same size, and then just chuck it in there with the onions that are, come on, starting to cook. Right. In goes the poblanos. What else do we need? Some garlic. Get 3 or 4. Let's put a fair bit in there. Let's put about 4 cloves, 5, 6 cloves of garlic in there. A little bit of salt, but not too much salt, because shrimp, I know they don't seem to taste salty when they're fresh, but when they're dried, I think they sprinkle a little bit of salt on them to help the drying process. So don't put too much salt in until you've tasted it. Chop up the garlic, take out that bit of tail in there. Chop up the garlic and don't get it too small again. because you want to good surprises in this. This is a great soup for winter time. In goes the garlic. Give it a good stir so it's all getting moist together. Right? Now we need some corn. You can put canned corn in, you can put fresh corn in, or you can put frozen corn in. We're going to put frozen because it's easy to get the bag open. About a cup of corn. Just put it in there, straight frozen. Give it a good stir. Now, tomatoes. If you can get that kind of tomato, that kind, see the plum tomato, that's fine. And if you can't, then you get a round tomato. The only difference is that, well, the big difference is, not apart from the shape, is that the plum tomato, this plum-shaped one, has got more juice in it. It's a better cooking tomato. It's what Italians use all the time for cooking with. They grow in Mexico, so it's quite authentic. Right, now, chuck that in there. And give it a good high heat stir. All right, we'll stir it in there. Now, in goes the dried shrimp. Toss the shrimp in there. Little bits of powder in the bottom and all. And stir it all together till it starts to go. Give it a good go of pepper. A good go of pepper. And we'll put in some cilantro. Here's a bit of cilantro. Just cut it up. Not too small. You don't smell like parsley. And throw that in there. And then we need either stock or water. Just put it in there. Let the whole lot go together. It's all had an initial melt together with the fat, with the oil in there. That's the start of it. We're going to put some flavorings in when I get back in 2 minutes, and then it will cook.
James will be back in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Soup's boiling, all right, so we turn it right down to simmer. We'll put in some flavorings. That's fresh oregano. If you haven't got fresh, put dried oregano in, all right? And I'm just going to put the whole thing in, then I can take it out later and see where it is. And I'm going to put in the zest of a lime. I think, there we go. Somebody's been playing with my zest to put it in a drawer. If you don't keep it sharp, it doesn't work. But there it goes. Okay, get the zest off the lime, put that in there. That gives it that nice sort of oiliness. But this already got a great smell to it. It's got the smell of this sort of dried shrimp. It's the same sort of smell that you get from tortillas. You know, that nice basementy smell. Really nice. And that'll turn this into this really great soup. And it's dead easy. So there we are. Now, let's get into making salads out of shrimp. Let's make 3 salads just to show you how they go. All right, we've got 3 kinds of shrimp. We got that kind, we got that kind, and we got that kind. So let's see what we can do with them. Shrimp need to be stretched because otherwise they cost too much money. They're expensive. So let's make the first one with red pepper. The great thing with any kind of salad is that it's got to look good. So we just cut that into long, thin strips. Cut them all the way through. Right, turn them around, and suddenly we've got little dice. Okay, it's going to look pretty. So this one isn't this is very bright. So we want the palest looking of all the shrimps. Those look pretty pale to me. Let's put those in there. Canned shrimp, all right? Let's put them in with the red peppers and toss them together like that. Now, watch this. This is really very, very good with shrimp. It's a sort of Caribbean salad. And we'll cut the banana down the middle. See that? I used to do brain surgery when I was a kid, but I gave it up. Made too much money out of it. It was really... Just cut the... There. Now, put that banana in with the red pepper and the shrimp. Toss it all together. And a little bit of chopped mint. That's the flavour. We're going to put the dressing on in a minute. That's one salad. Now let's look for another one. Let's take an apple. See, they go very nicely. All shrimps go very nicely with fruit. Even mandarin oranges. So here we go. Cut the apple into eighths so it will cut up quickly. Line them all up. And there we go. Right. Turn them around and again cut them up, because this time you've got a really white and pale thing here. We'll just take this apple, put a bed of that in there, like that. And here we'll put on top of that the really colorful shrimp. Just like that, just spread them out on it. Now this one looks a little delicate and pastel, so grab yourself a green pepper this time. Don't need a lot of it. The rest of it you can wrap up tight in cling film, saran wrap, and put it in the fridge and going to use it tomorrow. Or if you wanted to, you could just put it in the soup, or just put that on top of there. Suddenly you've got that. All right, that's another one. No, we want a little lime juice, because all shrimps need a little lime juice. And when you're dealing with fruit, here, it stops it going brown. Lime or lemon juice. Finally, out of the way, we come to a melon. Melons you can do things with without even having to have a dish. If you want to, you can just halve out a melon like this. Let me show you. Get in there and scoop out the melon flesh with a spoon. You don't have to have a special tool made out of solid silver for this. Just yard the flesh out of there like that. Chop it up. Chop it up. We'll take a bit more out of it. Let's do it this way. A little bit of melon out of there. So, chop it up. Not too small, because otherwise it turns into mush. Right. And this time we use these. Shrimp, melon, lime juice, just like everything else. Now, they're all mixed together, different flavors. Pepper on all of them. Pepper on all of them. And a little bit of oil or yogurt. You can make your mind up what you want to use. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on there. Not too much, just drizzle it over the top. Drizzle it over the top like that. Drizzle it over like that. And there you are. And then, while you're waiting, you just see if the soup needs anything else to give it flavor, because believe you me, you should just smell this. But wow. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Don't go away. James will be right back.
Now, shrimp again. Shrimp, prawns, call them what you like. Let's get this soup out of here first of all, because that soup is done. The dried shrimp have expanded and sucked in some of the stuff and given it that shrimpy flavor, thickened it up. And this is a gorgeous soup for a winter's day. And we take those bits of oregano out that we didn't want, and there you are. That's fine. Lovely. Now, so we've got that. Now, let's do some nice things. Let's do a couple of Japanese things, all right? we'll make a tempura. Now this is really a lot easier than it sounds. We want about 2/3 of a cup of flour. And so that's about 2/3 of a cup of flour, right? And we want about 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. Some people call it corn flour. Depends which side of the Atlantic you are, but we want some of that, 'cause that'll give it a nice crispness. And we just put that together like that. We want some baking powder. This isn't strictly Japanese, but it's a sort of insurance policy. It makes the batter quite light. So put that in, all the dry things in together, okay? And a little bit of cayenne pepper. This, again, isn't strictly Japanese, but they do it in the north of Japan, not in the south. Because in the north, well, it's cold. And we want some sesame seeds. Put about 2 or 3 tablespoons of sesame seeds. I like to do that, all right? A little bit of salt. And there we go, about a teaspoonful of salt. And we just stir the whole lot together. Okay, now the big trick now is to put in there about a tablespoonful of oil. Just about that much. That's about a tablespoonful of oil. And stir it all together again so that the oil gets dispersed around it and it starts to turn that mealy sort of look to it. All right. And then just to make it into let it get a little bit lumpy. That's just fine. But as long as it's all gotten mixed together. Now we take a measuring cup and put about 3/4 of a cup of water. And that's about 3. We're not going to put it all. This is a maximum. Because you don't want a lot. You want it very, very lumpy and dry. If it's gotten too wet, which this might well have done, it has indeed, we'll put in a bit more flour just to sort of dry it up a little bit. Stir it all around. And then what you do with it is take a little bit, put it in oil to see if it's hot enough. Yeah, see how it starts to float immediately? Well, that means it's almost ready. There we go. Yeah, all right. When we put cold things in, it'll reduce the temperature to where we want it. Now, this shrimp, we take this shrimp and just coat it. Toss a whole bunch of shrimp in here, all right, and coat it. And get some little bits sticking to it. That's all we need. Now look, that goes into the hot oil. We only want little bits of it. We don't want great lots of it, but this is the way I had tempura up in Hokkaido, which is way up in the north where they catch salmon and shrimp and eat an awful lot of garlic. So that's one way you can do that. You can do the same thing, look, with bits of green pepper. You can do the same thing with bits of carrot if you want to. Get a bit of carrot. Cut the carrot thin enough. Look, just a little bit of this. And then I'm cooking this in a pan, which is much deeper than the amount of oil I got in there because I don't want it to boil over, because that's the worst thing that can happen to you. Now look, let's take these out of here for a minute. Let me show you something that's really great. This is a sort of thing, karaage in Japanese means, really, it means deep fried. We've just got shrimp karaage here. Let's suppose we wanted to do something with little tiny shrimp. Dump the whole lot of shrimp in there. All right. Get some green onions and put that there so you can see. All right. Just chop the green onions up fine. And put those in. Now we've got green onions in there. Okay. And shrimp. You want a little bit of carrot? Well, you get a carrot and grate that in there too. You buy this roadside stands, little stalls, and it's so colourful and great. Mix it all together with your hands. I don't know any other machine that will do this without using your hands. Just mix it together into, and then, let me just wipe my hands off here. I'll show you what we do. First of all, there's our shrimp karaage. And here's the tempura, gone crisp, look, and nutty because of the cornstarch that was in there. Now we get this, flatten it out, a little like cakes of soap, and drop that in there. All right, that will come out, that will cook very, very quickly because it's so thin. And then we serve that. Yeah, that's another great thing to do. So I'll be back in 2 minutes. We just finish this up.
The Urban Peasant will be right back.
That was shrimp, and we did the best we could with what we had. We started off with the dried shrimp, which is really cheap. I mean, we made a great Mexican soup, really, really nice. Then we made 3 salads. We made a great one with apple, one with melon, and one with banana. I'm just going to put a little bit of cinnamon on top of that banana one. Very nice salad. Then we got Japanese, and we made the karaage, that one with the things all mixed together. And you can do that with canned shrimp. You can do that with really inexpensive shrimp, but of course it's nicer with fresh ones. And then we did the real tempura shrimp, which are, I mean, that is the way to live. If you really want to live in Japan, sometimes they have wonderful tempura bars, and they just do 1 shrimp at a time and give it to you. Beautiful things. Lovely. We used to think of marriage, one of those things that went on forever, but the real true marriages are in the kitchen, like bacon and eggs and strawberries and cream, but best of all is lime juice and fish of any kind, particularly shrimp. I've tried being vegetarian, I really have. I've worked really hard at it, but I just need a little bit of animal protein, and I guess when I work back into it, shrimp is where I start. I guess it's where a lot of people start, because it's surprising how many people like shrimp, and how many. My cat just loves shrimp, so if I get a pound of shrimp, he gets about a quarter of it. Shrimp, beautiful.